Okay, clase, buen día. Just coming back to you with our guide for activities in Módulo 3, Capítulo 8, Guía de Actividades. This one's going to be pretty quick and straightforward. What we're doing in this chapter is combining the use of the imperfecto and the pretérito to tell stories. And so one of the things we're going to do is look at fairy tales that we grew up remembering and hearing so that you're familiar with them. So it'll be easy for you to pick out the use of the two tenses that we've been working on so far in Español dos. Okay? You'll see that some of those are easily recognizable. Again, you're just naming what they are. Here we get into the use of the pretérito and imperfecto when we're narrating stories. And again, as we introduced earlier, there are some videos para ayudar. Again, if you find others, feel free to use those and share them. Okay. You're going to go through Goldilocks, Ricitos de Oro. We're going to go through Los Tres Cerditos, the Three Little Pigs. These might not be the standard versions that you're used to, but anyway, you're familiar with them, so it helps us to understand what we're doing. We're continuing again with different fairy tales, cuentos de hada, or just children's stories. This is La Caperucita Roja, as you saw in the first activity, Little Red Riding Hood. In this activity, if you read it all through in one, it's one whole story, but we do it line by line, so you just put the correct form of the verb, whether it's in imperfecto or pretérito, in each one of the spaces here. Okay, so by the time you're done, it reads as a whole story, not as sentence by sentence, and then you're going to be providing your own ending here. Okay. On this activity, you're making up a story. You can tell the traditional one or make up your own. Okay. And also in this one for the en casa, you're given either a toro or a tortuga or a llama, and you're making up your own story. I'll open up a space for us in the foro de discusiones to share the things that you make up so we can check them out with each other. Okay. In this módulo 3, we're going to be doing our diario 3, and you'll see there that it is also forming the script for what we will use for presentación oral número 2. Okay, so in this one you're going to write the first draft, the primera versión, submit it as in the past. I will give my recommendations, and due to the time constraints in our 8-week class, our mini semester class, the presentación oral 2, even though it shows up here in this chapter, we won't start until the next module, Módulo 4. So watch for that in the next module. That way we'll have time to go through the rough draft, and you'll get my comments back so you can have the final version to do the presentación oral número 2. Okay? And finally, in the last part, you're going to be making up your own cuento de hada, La Cenicienta Moderna, Modern Cinderella, using the vocabulary that's here. You'll just submit it there. All right. We'll talk more about the presentación oral número 2 in the next module, but you can read the instructions here. You've already got the script once you've done your diario 3. For this chapter only, both of the mini quizzes, normally our chapters have 2 separate ones. This is all together in one, and this is just a modern version that I propose for La Cenicienta, which is Cinderella. So just go through and pick out the correct forms of the verb that fit in the spaces here. Okay. As usual, we have opportunities for 3 C's in every chapter. Again, these aren't officially submitted until Module 6 and 7, but here you can do an activity on a video with Becky G and Gente de Zona. And if you do it now, that saves you time in the other modules, or you can come back and do it as one later on. This is a song that they recorded together called Muchacha, and it's another modern version of Cinderella, so check that out, have some fun with it. Right, there are other activities for 3 C's. Again, the can-do statements are only for Módulo 8. But here are other opportunities for you to do. I really recommend the one on exploring legends in Spanish-speaking world. You might find some that are interesting to you. Okay. Then comes the chapter vocabulary and the quiz. So as you go through this, if you have any preguntas, make sure and let me know. If not, nos vemos. Adiós.